Are you curious about Ketoconazole shampoo for hair loss? Well, guess what? In this video, I'm gonna test out this NIZORAL shampoo, which has got ketoconazole in it, and we're gonna see what it does for hair loss and just generally just look into it. What does it look like? What does it smell like? How does it work? Does it work? All you gotta do is stay tuned and watch. My name is Helen, welcome to the Shrimpy McGee channel. A really quick background about me. I am a hair loss sufferer. My hair loss kind of comes and goes in waves. Recently, I almost cured it. I wouldn't say cure it, you can't really cure hair loss, but I got down to pretty much no hair loss over the summer, and now it's the fall as I'm recording this, and you may or may not know this, but in the fall, it's documented that hair can fall out more for a number of reasons. I actually made a video describing the reasons and looking into some of the science behind this, so I'll go ahead and link up that video about why more hair falls out in the fall and less falls out during the summer. Go ahead and watch that if you're curious about that. And another video I've made is how to shampoo your hair so that you lose less in the shower. So those are two really good videos that will maybe familiarize yourself a little bit with what I do here. And I also test a lot of different shampoos, so maybe you've seen some of those videos or maybe you haven't, but I've done like mane and tail, nioxin, a lot of the shampoos that are targeted toward hair loss problems. I have tested them and I continue to test them on this channel. So yeah, go ahead and watch those if you're curious. But what we're gonna be testing now is this NIZORAL or NIZORAL, I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced, which is a shampoo that you can buy over the counter, at least here in Canada. I've got the 2% version here of a ketoconazole shampoo. What that ingredient is, it's an active ingredient that is supposed to kill the fungus that can cause dandruff and seborrhea. That's what it says here. I gave it one wash, so you can see my hair. I have just, what I do when I do these testings is that, these shampoo tests and reviews, is that I just do a wash of my hair, and then I usually just jump on and talk about just my first reactions. So you can see what it looks like here. I never put any products in afterward. So you're looking at my hair, it has conditioner in it. They don't make conditioner, so I just went ahead and used my Viviscal conditioner. That works pretty well. Yeah, you can see the first look here. Apparently this is really drying stuff. A lot of people complain about it being really drying. I suspect that might come down to people using too much of it. You really should follow the instructions. It only says to use 1 to 2 teaspoons. So I went on the lighter side. And so yeah, basic first thoughts. My hair's not as dry as I thought it would be, which is good, which also could be down to the conditioner as well, but I thought it would be much more tangly. It is a little bit on the frizzy side. I'll come a little bit closer. It's not the worst though, and I think that one of the reasons that it is not as bad as I thought it would be is I didn't overuse it. People use a ton of shampoo. You're using too much. If that's the case, follow the actual directions. So what I did in this case for my first wash ever, which was just use maybe half a teaspoon on the first go. So I always do a first wash. That first wash is just to cleanse. You know, I had hairspray in my hair. I had some powder to fill in this spot here with a different hairstyle that I was wearing, and I felt that you could see my scalp too much, so I had some powder in there, and I wanted to remove that first. So I just went in with a first wash, as I always do, just half a teaspoon. That went okay. Then I did a second wash with the full teaspoon, and then I let it sit on my head for, I think it says for 4 to 5 minutes. So that, yeah, 3 to 5 minutes, that's what I did. I think I set my timer for 4 minutes to make sure that I let it absorb into my scalp, because apparently with these kinds of things, you don't get much benefit unless you let the shampoo actually absorb into your scalp, because that's skin, right? So the active ingredients, the medicine in there, if you just put it on and quickly wash it off 30 seconds later, it's not gonna have enough time to penetrate and really do anything. I do not have seborrheic dermatitis, which is one of the conditions that this shampoo is targeted for, but it is well known in the hair loss community because theoretically it can reduce some of the inflammation that might be related to hair loss, whether you have actually like a dermatitis type condition that's causing your hair loss, or even if you just have other types of conditions like androgenetic alopecia. Apparently it can help to remove the DHT. And I know I'm getting into some technical terms. You don't need to know all of these technical terms, but removing the DHT is something that's supposed to be good for your hair if you're suffering from one of those kind of conditions. I just thought I would try it. I don't have a lot of faith in any shampoo to reduce hair loss, but I'm actually suffering from a bit more hair loss than usual right now. I got some video of just trigger warning if you're disgusted by hairballs. I have this small amount of video that I took with how much hair I have now coming out. Just this is what happened after the shower. I have a different technique that I use for conditioning my hair so that not too much falls out. This isn't actually that much, but it's a lot more than I had back in July. In July, I had next to nothing. I think I had just a few strands. Do not go counting your strands of hair. Don't do that because that is a path to obsession. Don't do that. I'm just doing this for video purposes so that we have something to compare it to. I'm gonna try this out a number of times. It says that you should only be using it maximum like 2 times a week, and then just, I guess, use your other shampoo the other times. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this will be longer than my usual. I usually just shampoo for about a week or a bit when I do these reviews typically, but for this one, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna give it a longer stretch because I'm only gonna be using it once or twice a week, and so I'll probably give this at least 3 weeks to a month and then give you a full report. So along the way, I might give you some more tips. I usually jump in with another little video saying, like, giving you an update halfway through about what I think of the shampoo. So I will do that this time. But just off the top, you know, it doesn't have much of a fragrance. It smells a bit like dish soap, actually, if I had to compare it to anything. It doesn't smell like your typical shampoos. It's a weird pink color. Let's have a look here. I did take some video of it, but you can, I don't know if you can see in here, it is pink. Okay, I'm at about the halfway point of trying out the NIZORAL Ketoconazole shampoo, and as you can see, my hair is a little frizzy. Nothing too crazy. This is definitely drying, probably more drying than I thought it would be when I started out, but with time and with more frequent usage, definitely has a drying effect. I only use it as recommended. I have read that some physicians recommend, if you're going to be using this, to recommend to use it like 3 to 4 times a week at the beginning, just to take care of, I guess, whatever itchiness might be going on. And if you're suffering from itchiness from using Rogaine, they say possibly to try this to see if it helps with the itchy factor of that, but that is not an issue for me. And it never made me, I don't have itchiness from dryness, so it's not helping with that, and it's not really helping very much with my hair loss either. I think I have probably pretty much the same amount, and I wasn't expecting it to. Honestly, I think if you think that this is gonna cure your hair loss, you're probably in for not a great surprise, because it doesn't. I think it's sort of something that can help along with it, and maybe some sort of skin condition, hair, scalp condition related causes, it can help with that, but it just in and of itself doesn't cure hair loss. So I have not been finding that to be the case, which is fine. In between using this, I just wanted to tell you guys I've been using my holy grail shampoo, which is Kerastase Benzotin 1 Nutritive. I've been using this for over 10 years. This is the best shampoo that I've ever tried. When I use this shampoo and the conditioner, I have 0 hair issues. My hair is just really nicely balanced. So I've been using this in between using this, not on the same time. Like, I'll wash this with this one day, and then the next time I have to wash, I'll swap it out for my just regular, more hydrating type shampoo. This is not targeted for hair loss either. This is just a regular shampoo. So far it's okay, you know. I have not been getting the extreme dryness I was a bit worried about, unlike when I used mane and tail shampoo, but that's another story for another day. I've been pairing this with, because it doesn't have a conditioner that comes with it. It's a medicated shampoo. I've been pairing it with this Viviscal Gorgeous Growth Densifying Conditioner, and I find that the two of them have been working kind of nicely together. I just had this, I didn't buy it specifically to, you know, I test a lot of hair products, so, and I've used this for a while, and so once in a while if I see this on sale, it's pretty affordable. It's available at the drugstore. It's not like the cheapest, like, it's not like Dove level prices, but it's not crazy expensive either. Has a really nice scent. That's what I like about this particular conditioner, and it works pretty well as well. No complaints about it. I love something that smells nice and it's not too heavy. I like that. This doesn't leave any scent on your hair if you just shampoo with this alone, that I can tell. It's just not very strongly scented, which is a great thing if you don't like strongly scented products. So yeah, so far so okay. It's fine. I'm not loving it. I'm not hating it. I feel quite neutral toward it. I'm definitely not gonna bash it. I thought I would hate it. So that's an interesting place to be. I thought that it would make my hair so dry, so brittle, and give me scalp issues, which I didn't have already. None of that has happened, so it's definitely okay. Stay tuned, because when I come back, I'll be sort of giving you my full 1 month review of this, see how it works. I have a whole bunch of criteria that I mark all my shampoos and conditioners by, and, you know, talking about lather and whether it's hydrating and stuff like that. So that'll be next. So it's been a month of using this, and I have found some interesting things. Some interesting things have happened. The number one thing you're probably the most curious about is, what was this stuff's effect on hair loss? And I think that it did reduce maybe some of my hair loss, not by a huge factor, definitely not down to none, but I think I had a little bit less hair falling out. And I don't know if I can strictly attribute it to this, product, but I can't say that I had more hair loss, and I can't really say that it stayed the same. It seemed to be just that little bit less. So that is always a good thing. I'm not necessarily convinced that this can cure hair loss, and nor does anybody claim that it will do that, but that's just something to keep in mind if you're wondering if it's gonna help for hair loss. For me, the result was possibly, yeah, a little bit, it seemed to. Another interesting thing that it did was it really cleared up my dry scalp issues. My scalp has always been dry, but it's not problematic dry. It's just dry leaning, if that makes any sense. So I never had any flakes. I just like I never got oily hair. I used to get really oily hair, but I don't anymore. And guess what, people? Oddly enough, this is gross, but I owe it to you guys to show you. My hair is much oilier than it has been in a long time. This is day 3 hair, so I am due for a hair wash, but I just wanted to show you it never would get this oily. And I know my hair is very dark, so it's not the easiest to see, but believe me when I tell you, when I do this, there's oil in my hair now, and there never used to be. I never would get any excess hair oil. So that's kind of an interesting thing, right? And I think on the whole, not a bad thing, because that means more oil coming from my scalp, meaning less dry scalp, is overall good, but also healthier for my hair, because now I don't have to do anything to, what's the word I'm looking for? Hopefully I'll need less product, and it makes your hair a bit healthier, less prone to breakage when you have your own hair oil, which is so weird. My hair has not been this oily in years. But the downside of that, of course, is that it looks greasy on day 3. It didn't look great on day 3, but it never looked greasy, and now it looks greasy and dirty on day 3. So I'm gonna be just sticking with my 2nd or 3rd day washes going forward. But yeah, it revived the sebum, the oil. It just brought my oil glands back to life in my scalp, and that's a lot of TMI. Sorry guys if you didn't want to hear that, but let's move on to the criteria. I do this for every shampoo that I rate so that I make sure that I'm not missing any of these criteria. So we talked about hair loss. We talked about it reviving my scalp to a more oily and more youthful state, which is interesting. Thickening, it does do a little bit of thickening because it does dry out your hair a little bit, right? So it gives a slight thickening effect. Volumizing and thickening can be sort of in the same vein sometimes. And yes, a tiny bit of volume, but nothing really noticeable. This is not a volumizing or thickening shampoo, nor is it meant to be. Shine, yeah, not bad. Not bad shine, not the best, not the worst, nothing really noticeable, I guess. Moisture, no, this doesn't deliver moisture, nor is it meant to, right? This is not a moisturizing shampoo. This is one to help you cure your dandruff and your dry scalp issues and itchiness, and you are supposed to leave it on. So I did a really good job of just putting it on and leaving it, and just shaving or something like that to kill some of the time, because you have to leave it on for minutes, right? Don't just put it in and wash it out. I always did 2 washes, which is my standard. I always wash my hair once just quickly to remove whatever that's in there, and then a second deeper wash. And with that deeper wash is when I did it, I left it in for a few minutes. Fragrance, very, very light fragrance, barely noticeable at all. So if you have a sensitivity to fragrance, you'll probably find it's maybe acceptable. I don't know, it depends on how sensitive you are. If you just hate heavy fragrances, this will work in your favor. It doesn't have much of a scent at all, and it doesn't really linger either. Softness, no, it doesn't really deliver softness, again, nor is it meant to. It's meant to treat your scalp, but it's not nearly as drying as I thought it would be. I swear I thought it was gonna just dry my scalp to the next, and my hair to the next dimension. I thought it would be super, super frizzy, and it wasn't not frizzy, but it wasn't as bad as, it never got as bad as I thought it would, given the many reviews on YouTube saying that it's like ultra drying, makes your hair a rat's nest, blah, blah, blah. That never happened to me, but I was also very careful not to use a lot of it. So maybe that tip will help you out if you decide to try it. Cleansing power, yes, it doesn't give you like a tingle. Like I remember using, I think, Denorex years ago, and that is a tingly shampoo, and I think even Head & Shoulders gives you a bit of a tingle if I'm recalling correctly. Drop a note down below if Head & Shoulders does not do that. I'm imagining things, but I think it does. This one doesn't really do any of that. You barely would notice any sort of difference between this and any other sort of clear shampoo. And it is pretty good at cleansing. Lather. I could never really get this to lather. I did try by sort of upping the amount, so I wanted to see if it would make a lather, and it just, something about either the formulation is maybe low in sudsing agents or just the combination with my particular hair, but I never really did get it to lather. If I did lather, it would lather for just seconds and then the lather would dissipate. And that's okay with me. I actually don't love a big lather because I feel that it is stripping when I have a really big lather, so I'm cool with that. Best for. It's not really for me to say who this is best for. If your doctor tells you to use it, go ahead and use it. I think that if you have dandruff, it may do a great job compared to other dandruff shampoos if you haven't liked them before, which is definitely, I have never liked any dandruff shampoo that I've ever tried, but I did actually like this one, even though I wasn't trying to treat dandruff. And I realize that's a bit of a circular kind of a thing, but if you have dandruff, I would say try this one. It might work really well for you. If you have hair loss, you can certainly try it, especially if your dermatologist recommends it. Some dermatologists do, some dermatologists don't. And I've done quite a bit of research, and the lines are sort of divided as to whether it helps a lot or not. But it's not a bad, it's like over the counter. It's not very expensive. I didn't have any detrimental effects to my hair. It didn't get extra dry. But then again, I didn't only use the shampoo. I was using this some days and just my regular shampoo some other days. If you only use this and you use a lot of it, maybe it would just dry your hair like crazy. But then again, if it is drying, there are things you can do. You can put conditioner in your hair that will make it less dry, or post-shampoo products. I would say it's good for just generally anybody who needs to address itchiness or dry skin, or I guess maybe even the hair loss conditions. I had someone comment that they had PCOS, and so this was recommended to them to block the DHT. And I'm not gonna get into all the different sort of scientific reasons why it doesn't work, but I would say that it's not a bad shampoo. It's quite good. I liked it, and now I have to give it an overall mark. So overall mark, I'm gonna give it an A-, and that's higher than I even thought that I would give it, to be honest. I think it's a really good shampoo. I think that it does work on itchiness, on dryness, or maybe not on itchiness. I actually don't have too much of an itchy scalp, but definitely helps my dry scalp way more than I thought it would. It's actually brought me to another level of health, scalp health, which is kind of amazing for like just a simple, inexpensive, easy to find drugstore product. So if you want to try it, I would say I would have no reservations in recommending it. It works well. It does what it's supposed to do. And the interesting thing about this is like there aren't any competitors. I can't think of any other shampoos off the top of my head. This one is the best known that has the ketoconazole in it. So yeah, NIZORAL, however you pronounce it. It's good, I liked it, A-. All right guys, thanks so much for following me along here. I hope that was helpful and helps you make a buying decision. I have lots more content like this, so be sure to check it out, and we'll see you soon.